Good day, everyone. Today, Octopath Traveler 2 has just been released, and this is the Switch version, and you can now play this into your PC if you don't own a Nintendo Switch. So if you don't own a Nintendo Switch but want to play this game into your PC because you have a decent PC or you have a gaming PC, then this is the perfect video tutorial for you to watch, because I'm going to teach you on how to make this game run into your PC, how to get all of these files here so that you'll be able to run them into your PC. So what you need is that you'll need to install the latest build of Ryujinx Emulator. So for those who are new and who didn't know, Ryujinx Emulator is a Nintendo Switch emulator that can play any Nintendo Switch games as long as you have all these files here installed in Ryujinx Emulator. Ryujinx Emulator alone cannot play any Nintendo Switch without these files, so bear that in mind and understand on that, okay? So I have here Octopath Traveler 2, and I have run the game, and it runs perfectly well. And if you're playing Octopath Traveler 2, using the Switch version, it's much better that you use Ryujinx Emulator than you use Emulator, because Ryujinx Emulator is much faster and can run the game with no issues at all. So that is it. So first of all, I'm going to teach you where to get Ryujinx Emulator first and set it up into your PC. So in order to do this, just open a web browser here and just type in Ryujinx Emulator and hit search, and ryujinx.org. This is their official website. Click on that and then go to the download tab here. If you're using a Mac OS, your Mac OS should be in Mac OS 11 or later version for you to download and install Ryujinx Emulator. And if you have a Linux system, then you can download the Linux installer here. And if you're from Windows, just like me, you can just download it here. The download and installation process is really easy to do, and it's really straightforward. So I'm just going to skip on the download and installation process because, again, just to save time, and installation is really easy to do. So I'm going to assume now that you have already installed Ryujinx Emulator. As of recording this video tutorial, the latest build is 1.1.626 version. So please do check on that. So if this is your first installation for Ryujinx Emulator, be sure to run the emulator now, and then you'll be met with certain errors that's saying that you'll need some certain files installed into your Ryujinx Emulator. So what are those files? Those files are the Nintendo Switch keys and the Nintendo Switch firmware. And it should be in version 15 in order for it to detect and play Octopath Traveler 2. So bear that in mind. You should have the latest keys and firmware in order to play this game. So if you're asking me where to get all of these files, legally speaking, the only way to get all of these files is that you own a Nintendo Switch console, which is modded and has a custom firmware installed in it. Because if it has a custom firmware installed in it, it means that it can access your Nintendo Switch system files. And then once you have access on that, all you have to do is just copy all the keys file and all of the firmware files into your PC. And in order to get Octopath Traveler 2, is that you should own the game and buy the game. That is the only way. You should own the game and digitally back it up into an XCI file format. But if you don't own a Nintendo Switch, or if you have a Switch but don't know how to mod or install a custom firmware in it and don't know how to do all the things that I have said, so I'm just going to save you the hassle and teach you to get all of these files here. So in order to get all of these files here, I'm just going to leave a QR code here wherein you can scan it with your QR code reader so that you will be redirected to the page wherein you can download all of these files with this appropes.com. So once you are in that website, just be sure to hover down to the middle part of the page so that you'll be able to get the game, which is Octopath Traveler 2. And in order to download the keys and firmware files, is that it is in the bottom part of the website. So be sure to check out the entirety of the website so that you'll be able to get all of these files here into your mobile phone and then just transfer them and copy them into your PC just like in here. So that's how you do that. So open your Ryujinx Emulator now because it's time to install them. And I'm going to assume that you already have the files here. It's time to install them to Ryujinx. To do this, just go to File, go to Open Ryujinx folder, and then open the system folder here. And now it's time to open the keys.zip file here. All you have to do is just drag and drop and copy and paste these files into that folder. This folder should be empty because this is your first installation. So closing it now. Now the next step is to install the firmware. To install the firmware, all you have to do is just go to Tools, go to Install Firmware, install the firmware from XCI or zip file, and then click on the firmware file. So be sure to hover on which directory you have with them. Okay, so hit open. And it will say that you'll have to install a firmware, hit yes, say successfully installed. You'll know that the firmware and all of the files have been successfully installed because it will detect your Nintendo Switch games and it will show you the game icons for that game. So that's the only way that you will know that it is successful. So as you can see here, it will show all of the games icon here. So what's the next step now? The next step now is that to optimize your Ryujinx emulator so that it will be able to play Octopath Traveler 2 with no issues at all. To do this, all you have to do is just go to options, go to settings, and on this part, just pause the video and be sure to copy everything that you see in the screen, okay? So the game directories is wherein you'll put your Nintendo Switch files or the Nintendo Switch games, and Nintendo Switch games should be either in XCI or NSP file format. But if you followed all the steps that I've shown in the video tutorial, then you'll be able to get the NSP file format of the game, which can also run in Ryujinx Emulator. Now go to input. It is better to use a controller when playing Nintendo Switch games because it's really hard to play it with mouse and keyboard. So to configure this, just go to player 1 and hit configure. And then my controller is not yet detected, so I'm just gonna reconnect my Nintendo Switch Pro controller here. We'll close in that. Okay. Connect my controller first. Okay, so I have now connected. I go to configure again. And it will detect my Nintendo Switch Pro controller. As you can see here, I have mapped them up accordingly. And if you who don't have a Pro controller, you can use your Xbox or PlayStation controller here. The dead zone should be set into 0.20 so that there will be no Joy-Con drifts in playing those games in the Switch, okay? So, hit save. Now go to System. Be sure to pause the video and copy my settings. Then the graphics tab, this is the most important part, so be sure to copy everything. So graphics back and multi-threading should be in on. Graphics back and API should be in Vulkan. The preferred GPU is your dedicated graphics card. I have RTX 20 Super. The enhancements that I have checked is that I have enabled shader cache and enable macro HLE. The resolution scale is 2 times resolution because the game will look much more beautiful and more sharper than the native resolution of Switch. But if your PC cannot handle that 2 times resolution, then you can go to the native resolution. But for me, I'm using 2 times resolution because I have 1440p monitor and my RTX 20 Super can handle the game. Anisotropic filtering is set to auto and my aspect ratio is 16:9 and hit apply and save. So that's how you optimize your Ryujinx emulator to play Octopath Traveler 2. So a little bit of disclaimer. I'm not going to show you a gameplay of Octopath Traveler 2 because we all know that Nintendo is really strict on this kind of content and they don't want it to be shown on the internet or YouTube. Because if I show you that I am playing Octopath Traveler 2 using Ryujinx Emulator, then my channel will get into trouble and that my videos will be taken down and my channel will be taken down. So I hope you guys do understand on that part. But as long as you follow all the steps, then you'll be able to play Octopath Traveler 2 with no issues at all. But as of proof, so I'm willing to show you some proof, guys, that this game will run into my PC here. So I'm just going to boot up Octopath Traveler 2 a little bit into the title screen. And once I am in the title screen, I'm just going to stop the emulation so that Nintendo will not be able to hit me with any copyright strike. Okay, so I hope you guys understand on that part. And I'm just going to blur the screen here again so that there will be no copyright strike issues that will be given to me into my channel. So it's staying quite a while. So as you can see here, it's now booting up and starting to show the game. So for you, it will be blurred. Prevent copyright strike issues, okay? Because we know that Nintendo's really strict. So here it is, the title screen, and I'm just gonna stop the emulation now. So as long as you have followed all the steps that I've shown you in this video tutorial, then you'll be able to play Octopath Traveler 2 with no issues at all into your PC. But if you have some questions regarding the installation process of Octopath Traveler 2 into your PC, then just leave a comment in the comment section below and I will try my best to answer all of them. Thank you for watching, see you next time, and subscribe to my channel. Goodbye for now.